Okay, so I wanted to show you the components of how I vacuum seal. So first of all, here's that rice I was talking about. Actually, this rice ended up being in the freezer for over 2 weeks just because. Um, and then I needed the space to put all the meat I got. Okay, so over here I have 2 large mason jars. These are the half-gallon size. And then we have the rings, and these are not in perfect condition. As long as they're not rusty, it's fine. For vacuum sealing, they don't have to be perfect. And you could also use previous lids for vacuum sealing. And then we have the entrees, which I've shared before. And so here's where you put in the hose. Of course, you gotta snap both sides and make sure it's sealed. And then here is the larger size, and this is actually Food Saver. This portion is a Food Saver item, which works great with the entrees, as I've done it before. So I'll be showing you how to do this process. Okay, peekaboo, I see you. Whatever. Anyway, so focus is on this stuff, not on this beautiful face. So here we go, jasmine rice. And why should you do all this vacuum processing? Literally, I didn't learn about all this until one of my friends started talking about food preservation, and then about vacuum sealing food, and so it lasts longer. And because I was cleaning out my pantry, I realized I had a lot of expired foods, and I thought, since I'm single, what can I do to prolong the life of the food that I do get? And with that, you learn that of these processes. Now, some people do this, they do it's called oven canning, but I found that this is safer and easier. And forgot my scissors because for this one, the cheap one doesn't have a fancy thing you can pull off. So, anyways, fill both these up. And then I have canisters for daily use that I will put the excess in, or even another mason jar. So, okay, so there's that. Just wanted to share that these are the actual mason jar. And what's nice about these is that once they get wet, they actually start dissolving, so they're easy to remove. So you don't have to write on the tops of your labels, especially if you're a person that likes to reuse your lids. And with vacuum sealing, you definitely can. Now, as regards to regular canning processes, there's different viewpoints on that. Many people say they can, but we're talking about vacuum sealing anyway. So I'm going to label these. I'll make this nice and snug. Scoop this over. This is the jasmine rice. And I'm going to go ahead and admit that I got the rices mixed up, so I had to unpop them and redo it. Anywho's, here we go. Everything's nice and snug. I'm going to push the canister button on the entrees. Okay. See, they're nice and sealed and popped, so that's going to mean that this is sealed. So take this off gently. You're going to check it. And then I got my jasmine rice label already ready. So this way I'm not going to confuse the rices. So here we go. Good job. Now I'm not going to confuse them. Let's move on to the next one. Our next contestant. And I'm using a Kerr lid on a ball jar. That's regular. Don't worry about it. This one has a ball lid on a ball jar. But anyways, interchangeable, which is nice about the canning process. It's nice and snug. Push that canister button. Yeah. Heard that nice seal, but you always check it. Okay. Got your label. Put that label on there. And now this is ready for long-term storage, which is many, many years. Some say up to 20 years. So I'm sure I'll eat this before 20 years. And then the next part that I do is, here's my jasmine rice canister. What I've also done is all the canisters that I now have been upgraded. So to make sure there's a nice seal so that when I close it, there's not a whole lot of air that gets through. And then what I like to do so I don't get confused is I will cut off this jasmine so that I know what it is. Stick it in here, and then also, oops, I can find the yeah, there it is. And then I'll even put the expiration in there. But like this expires February 2023. This will be eaten before then, but I put it in there anyway. And I'll do the same with the long grain rice. So I hope you enjoyed this section of food preservation with Cooking with Kia.